Henry Ford did not simply invent affordable cars. He built an empire so powerful that it reshaped entire nations and almost allowed him to control the world's roads. This is Ford's dark empire. In the early 1900s, Ford transformed the automobile from a luxury toy into an everyday machine. The Model T became the car of the common man, and Ford became a household name. But while America praised him as a hero, Ford's empire was already extending far beyond Detroit. His ambition was not limited to America. He wanted global control. By the 1920s, Ford cars dominated the streets of dozens of countries. Roads were designed around them, gasoline stations multiplied to serve them, suburbs expanded to accommodate them. It was not simply transportation, it was social engineering. The world was bending to Ford's will. But beneath the image of an innovator, Ford carried darker beliefs. He was openly anti-Semitic, publishing hate-filled writings that spread worldwide. Adolf Hitler himself admired Ford, even keeping a portrait of him in his office. When Hitler praised Ford as an inspiration, it was not just empty flattery. Ford's influence on Nazi ideology was real. Then came the shocking financial link. Long before America entered World War II, Ford Motor Company invested in Germany. Through its subsidiary, Ford Worker, factories in Cologne built vehicles for the Nazi regime. These were not harmless sedans. They were military trucks, machines of war that carried German soldiers into battle. While the world prepared for conflict, Ford's empire quietly profited. In 1938, on his 75th birthday, Henry Ford received a medal from Nazi officials, the Grand Cross of the German Eagle. It was the highest honor that Nazi Germany could award to a foreigner. That medal symbolized a chilling truth. Ford was not just a businessman, he was a figure admired by one of history's most brutal regimes. The story becomes even darker. During the war, the German subsidiary continued producing vehicles for the Third Reich. Evidence shows that forced laborers, including prisoners of war, were used inside those factories. Ford's empire was not only tied to the Nazi war machine, it was built on the suffering of people who had no choice but to work. How could an American icon allow this to happen? Some defend Ford by claiming he was detached from daily operations overseas. But history leaves little room for doubt. Ford knew where his money went. His writings revealed his sympathies. His acceptance of the Nazi medal confirmed his connection. At home, Ford was also shaping America in troubling ways. He built a city in the Brazilian jungle called Fordlandia, where he tried to control not only rubber production, but also the lives of workers. He imposed strict rules on how they lived, what they ate, and even what they did for entertainment. Workers revolted, and the project collapsed. But it showed how far Ford was willing to go to extend his power. Ford's obsession with control did not stop at business or politics. Inside his own company, he hired a former boxer named Harry Bennett to enforce loyalty. Employees who spoke against Ford faced intimidation and violence. This was not simply a corporation, it was an empire ruled with fear. When World War II finally engulfed the globe, Ford's reputation in America faced cracks. The United States government pressured automakers to support the Allied cause. Ford did shift production to military vehicles for America, but the shadow of his ties to Nazi Germany never disappeared. Even after the war ended, lawsuits and investigations revealed the depth of Ford's involvement in supplying Hitler's regime. The legacy of Ford's dark empire is complicated. On one side, he gave the world affordable cars and revolutionized industry with the assembly line. On the other, he spread hatred, financed factories that supported a dictatorship, and allowed his brand to be used as a weapon of war. Most history books celebrate Ford as an industrial genius. Few highlight that he once stood dangerously close to becoming a global power broker who influenced not only roads, but governments and armies. Think about it. One man's company built the cars that shaped American suburbs, and also the trucks that carried Nazi soldiers. One man was honored by both the American public and Adolf Hitler. One empire reshaped modern life, while fueling a war that killed millions. This is why the story of Ford's dark empire matters. It is not simply about cars, it is about the terrifying truth that innovation, when tied to dangerous ideology, can become a weapon. Henry Ford nearly controlled the world's roads. But the cost of his ambition reached far beyond transportation. It reached into politics, war, and human suffering. So the next time you see a Ford logo, remember, it is not just a symbol of progress. It carries the weight of a history far darker than most people realize. Stay alert, because history's greatest empires are often built not just on dreams, but on secrets. And sometimes, those secrets drive the world straight into darkness.